Hello and welcome to another episode. Today I have on a newer acquaintance of mine, Sofia Paclibar, and we met through the Middle Class Millionaires Capital Raising Kickoff. We, yes, we don't really know each other too well, so on the podcast today we'll just get to know each other and have a conversation and just talk about our real estate goals. So with that, let's get started. Welcome, Sophia. Thank you for being here.
Hello, Kyle. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So, would you want to just share a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are and what sparked your interest in real estate investing?
Okay. Again, my name's Sofia Paclibar. Thanks again for this opportunity. As we speak, I am out of my comfort zone. Even though I took some broadcasting classes years ago.
Oh, wow. That's
And
cool.
yeah, which is it's funny. But yeah. So eventually maybe we'll see where that goes. So as far as the real estate journey goes, I happened to scroll on Facebook and saw this was a couple years ago, and saw an ad about purchasing apartment buildings. And I come from the healthcare field, nutrition, and moved around within that department, referrals, contact center, things of that nature. I enjoy helping people when it comes to my own experiences as far as health education and the things that have worked for me as well. And I also care for my 89-year-old mom who currently has Alzheimer's, heart issues, um, kidney issues, things of that nature. So I say that to say, as it relates to real estate or any goals that we're really pursuing in life without our health, um, doesn't really matter too much, right? Like for me, I do my best to practice what I preach. Again, I'm human. Nutritionists, dietitians are human too. We have cravings, right? But it's really a matter of remembering why we got into what we got into as far as our career or whatever our life choices are, um, our journeys. And so, anyway, fast forward, I attended this orientation for this apartment building, and a lot of things made sense as far as passive income, potential cash flow, depending on what the deal is. I'm always about having an open mind, as far as how can I work smarter versus harder. I come from a family of nine. We all immigrated from the Philippines here back in the 80s. And for those that have never been out of the country, I encourage you to do so, because it is really an eye opening experience. And we take a lot of things for granted here in America. And so, my family doesn't come from a family of entrepreneurs. We didn't grow up with, a lot of the education that's offered here in the United States. So real estate, amongst other things, made sense to me as I grew older, uh, and was able to make more, decisions for myself as far as what I wanted to do, so to speak. Um, and so, I took a leap of faith, and invested in multifamily education. Life happened in between. Um, and so I kind of put that on pause. And, but I still went to the events, to the networking events while I was, I say growing through life, because life is always going to happen, right? And so as I was going through that, this year, the later part of this year, 2023, I call it my reboot year because, um, it's basically starting fresh. and I'm at a better uh, mental space, so to speak, to be able to relearn and learn more about multifamily real estate, because it is a lot to learn, from healthcare to real estate, with very little experience aside from, purchasing a single family home back in 2010, and then I lost that to foreclosure. That was my only experience. And it's kind of ironic, actually. I will never forget this day that I got the foreclosure letter on the day on my birthday,
Wow.
which was December 30th. And because of, I think, because of I'm not attached to material things, which is a good thing. Um, at the same time, it was an awakening, right? At the same time, my humor is kind of weird like that, where I was like laughing at myself because I'm like, wow, there's my birthday gift, a foreclosure letter. Don't really know what that means, but I know the house is, not mine anymore or whatever, right? It was never mine anyway. So anyway, I digress. So, yeah, the more I'm learning and the more I continue to work on my mindset, which is the topic that I decided to kind of, talk about today, because that's really something that has kept me going through. I started my mindset journey when I first partook in a multi-level marketing company. And that's where I was introduced to like Jim Rohn and Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki books. Um, that continued, and I was hooked for life. I'm hooked for life on personal development and mindset, because really, whatever it is you decide to do with your life, if your mindset is not right, you can totally go a different direction. And it's literally saved my life, because there were times where if it wasn't for mindset, um, and spirituality intertwined with that, there was a point where I actually wanted to take my own life. And that is a real a real thing, because I know a lot of people um, who have wanted to take their own life because of the things that they allowed life to just win, the struggles of life, right? And so, which is why um I love the fact that the education company with the real estate that I partook in, which is multifamily mindset, focuses on mindset. That's the foundation. The founder of the company is all about mindset, and he practices what he teaches, what his company encompasses. And so that's a major factor for me. And it's an ongoing battle, right? Every day we have to force ourselves to do the things that we don't want to do, because pretty much basically we have to, not just for ourselves but for our families, right? Usually a lot of the things that we do is really not usually for ourselves, it's for somebody else. But a book that I also wanted to share is this book right here. If no one's ever heard of this book, called UOU, he was actually a guest speaker at the real estate event. And that's how I was first exposed to Dr. Eric Thomas, who also helped me a lot in my own personal journey. Um, Even this real estate, it's a grind, right? It's a grind, especially when you don't have your first deal yet, and you're doing your best to learn and network and get to know people and do a podcast and learn all the tech stuff and figure out who is supposed to be uh, in this journey with me, right? And who can you trust? Because it's all about trust, regardless of whatever industry you're in. know, like, and trust. And so that's the journey I'm in. And let's see what else. I'm just rambling.
Yeah, man, there's so much to unpack there. I think you should have your own podcast. You got a very, very interesting story. And before I forget, happy birthday, because you got a birthday coming up, right? The 30th?
I do. I'll be 21 all over again.
I love it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I actually, I guess we're not too far apart. I have a birthday on the 3rd of the new year, so that's
Oh,
not too.
you're a Capricorn then too, I think, right?
Yes, yes, that would
Right
be.
on. Happy
Yeah,
birthday.
thank you.
We
Thank
get
you.
gypped on the presents. I don't know about you, but I know I do.
Yeah, but I want to get into the real estate, but you mentioned so you're a nutritionist, right? Well, that's something that's very important to me, nutrition and fitness, and
Hmm.
I think it's important because I want to be able to, like, I don't want to be in my old age be like I'm guessing you like the condition your mom is in now is probably a big reason why you're focused on that and passionate about that. So just talk a little bit about the nutritionist side of things. What do you like in that area?
Oh, as far as nutrition goes,
Yes.
well, how I basically my main reason I got into nutrition really was uh I couldn't decide, right? When I graduated high school, I could not decide what I wanted to major in. But around that time was when one of my brothers, as I mentioned, I'm the youngest of 9 kids, 6 brothers and 2 older sisters. And one of my brothers got diagnosed with colon cancer. Fast forward, he passed away at the age of, like, I think 41 or something like that. And it was around that time where I couldn't decide what my major was. Said I didn't want to be a doctor. I didn't want to be a nurse. Typical typical Filipino family nurses. Um, so I was like, oh, maybe I think I'll go into nutrition. I really want to be able to at least educate people of what they can do to prevent diseases or to prevent certain things from happening as much as possible, right? Versus helping people after the fact, after things have happened already, right? So my whole focus was um you know prevention, because of my brother who had passed of colon cancer. And pretty much it was a variety of things, lifestyle things of that nature. And then I had another brother also pass away of colon cancer too. He was in his, like, 50s. I think he's like 52 maybe. And then his led to pancreatic cancer after that. So it sped up real quick. So I had 2 brothers pass away of cancer. And then my mom, who's 89 now, who's obviously still with me, she was also diagnosed with cancer. But, after she had her surgery, knock on wood, it never came back. And as I educated myself on different supplements, things like that, um, with working with her primary care to have her on certain supplements while on medication, she's still here with me, which is another reason that I push myself to pursue the life that I want to be able to give to her while she's here. um and the time, right? Really, it's the time, because I still do work a job. um and most people who are pursuing their goals, you know still have to work their W2s while pursuing whatever it is that they're trying to pursue. So
Yeah, absolutely.
um yeah, so
I like to get into real estate. A lot of people like choose. It feels like a lot of people choose like the residential like single family route, and then eventually graduate into commercial like apartment
mhm,
building of similar nature.
mhm.
Curious, why did you choose? Like, I think commercial is the way to go, and especially apartment buildings. So just curious why what made you choose that versus like single family.
Well, from what I've learned so far, it makes more sense how, like, in the orientation that was discussed when I first attended. um they had the analogy of, if somebody owns three houses, right? Three single family homes, you have a family in each one of those houses, versus someone who owns, a team of people that own an apartment complex of, let's say, 100 doors, right? Now, in comparison to a single family, residential ownership, where, let's say, one or two of the families, because of whatever situation, they lose their job, or for whatever reason they can no longer keep that house, then the owner has to come up with the mortgage, right? All three of those mortgages, or two of the three. Versus an apartment complex, if one or two residents decide to move out for whatever reason, you still have 98 doors, 98 new units covering. And there's an ongoing need, especially right now, for housing, and a lot of people cannot afford to live in a rental on a single family house, or even, own a home themselves. So the next resort is an apartment complex. So to me, that made sense, right? And then at the same time, what I've come to learn is, from all the networking, and I'll ask people who currently have residentials, um what made them decide to learn more about commercial. And they're like, yeah, I'm putting out my own money, right? They're putting out their own money, their own. And if they're doing their own maintenance, if they have the skills, they're doing the maintenance too. So they're trying to use their own efforts and their own resources at the same time. The limited time that they have is going to all that, versus spending it with their families, or having some kind of more leverage with their time, right? On top of probably working a W-2 on top of that. Whereas in commercial, when you are in the right team with the right vision and the right resources and skills, you work together as a team and you communicate, you're able to get more done. And you know you're not doing everything yourself. It's all about teamwork, as long as you have the right team together. And that's where I'm at right now, is really vetting people who I want to work with. From what I've learned in my journey up to now, there's a lot of people that I've met who have just partnered up because they're so in a hurry to get that first deal, right? Don't get me wrong, I've been there too. At the same time, what I reflected on now is, when things have not come into fruition the way I wanted it to, it was really a blessing in disguise, because it was protecting me from partnering with certain people that could have gone the wrong way. So looking back at it now, I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not in a hurry, because that's it's not a cheap mistake, right? But
Yeah,
at the same
definitely.
time, that's how we're gonna learn, right? Um,
Yeah, absolutely. I you mentioned personal development and mindset, and that I'd like to spend some time talking about that. What
mm,
have you learned, and what kind of resources have you used to kind of dive into that, and what is your favorite way to, I guess, to learn more about that stuff?
for mindset,
Yes.
for my personal experience, like I said, my first experience was Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, and that opened my eyes and my mind to thinking differently. Um, and moving forward from that, I just was exposed. I started going to conferences and seminars, and most of them had, guest speakers. And that book I showed you earlier, Eric Thomas was one of them. And for myself, it's really being intentional as far as even day, every single day, at least minimum of 30 minutes, just a minimum of 30 minutes of listening to or watching something positive or reading something positive. The more you feed your mind positive things, as well as surround yourself with positive people, it makes a huge difference. Because I know there's times where, we could just be busy and continue the day to day, and then we forget, right? Because time's like so fast, and you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't read anything, I didn't listen to anything. And then I know for me, I'll feel in my spirit, like I'll feel a certain way, like a negative type of energy, or I feel extra tired or whatever, because I let myself um not not be aware or not be intentional about my day. And so the more I can and the more that I do self-awareness, the better my day is, the better my week, my year, right? And the better I am around the people that I'm supposed to be around.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, time has flown already, but
Oh,
you you had mentioned.
I'm over here nervous.
What was that?
I'm over here nervous, like, oh my God.
No, you're doing great. I usually like to ask a couple questions to end it. Like you already mentioned, like three books or a few books that you had an impact on you. So let's end it with this question. If you, I guess, if you had to start over your career, um, would you do anything differently? And if so, what would it be?
Career as far as nutrition side or real estate side?
Just overall, yeah, real estate, I guess.
If I knew what I know now, right, I would definitely go into commercial real estate. A lot younger, and definitely the trajectory of my life would totally be different. But at the same time, um, there's a reason that we all have whatever path we're on, right? And so it's never too late, that's for sure.
Hmm.
And definitely just yeah, commercials real estate's where it's at, and just a matter of being being on a team or creating a team that is in alignment with your values and your vision.
Yeah, that is very important. I think, like being able to not for me, it's not comparing myself to other people, but to where I was like a year ago. I think. Hey, you're back.
What happened?
I'm not sure.
It wasn't my I was like, my laptop is plugged in.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure what happened, but yeah, we were just
Okay.
kind of wrapping up there. But yeah, I think
Okay.
it's important for me to compare myself to where I was like a year ago versus comparing myself to where other people are and their success, because I think it's
Hmm.
a I like to say comparison is a thief of joy. And
Yeah.
definitely, I think that's true. Definitely, like if I find myself comparing me to someone else, then it's just not a good way to go. So,
Yeah.
well, hey,
I
I
think we
appreciate. Go ahead. Want to
I
add
said,
something?
I think, yeah, I think we all do that. It's a natural thing, and we just have to be more self-aware that we have to be content with where we are in our own journey, and that, like you said, we are better people than we were last year. The
Mhm.
growth is there, no matter how little or how big it is. Just to remind ourselves that, hey, I was better than I was yesterday,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Stay in
yeah.
our own lane. That's another book that helped me. There was a quote in there, stay in your own lane. Stop looking to your left or your right.
Is that book called "Stay in Your Lane"?
Something like that.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
actually, no, it's not. I lied. It's something about success. I have to find it. And I'll send it to you.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out, and appreciate you for sharing your story. It's very inspiring. And where can people find you on social media?
Social media, Instagram, Grateful Daily, GR, the number 8, the letter TFUL Daily, DAILY. And on Facebook, Sofia Paclibar, SOFIA PACLIBAR. And I don't add people unless you send me a message as to where you know me from. Um, just because aside from that, there's some backstory on that safety concerns that I have, which is why I said I'm out of my comfort zone because social media, right?
Mhm.
So send me a message as to where we connected, and I can add you from there.
Okay. Sounds good. I will put the links to the description. But appreciate you joining me today and taking time out of your day.
Thank you so much. You have a good day and Merry
Thank
Christmas.
you.
Happy birthday. See you next
Yeah,
year.
thank you. Merry Christmas to you as well, and
All
happy
right.
birthday. See ya.
Thank you. Bye bye.